G'day everyone and welcome back to NS2HD. Well, I apologise, it has been a few days since my last video, but there is good reason for that. I don't know if you've noticed, but the NS2 beta trailer has been released. You can watch it over on Flavor's channel in the link at the bottom of this video. It's slowly making its way all over the internet, and the last few days getting that out there were hectic, and Unknown Worlds had me working on that for the last 6 weeks, but in the last few days we really worked to pump it out, so I had to devote all my time to that. No more NS2HD videos for that time, but I'm back to making NS2HD videos, which is what I love doing. Now, if you haven't watched the beta trailer, go and have a watch. Click on the link at the bottom of this screen, and if you have seen it, then please post it all over forums, Facebook it, dig it, you know, do all those social networking things that I don't understand, and make it spread all over the internet so people can get a look at the good NS2 beta goodness. Now, this video is going to be a little different. I'm not going to do a full game commentary in this video. I'm actually going to look at some gorge tactics. You can see I'm up in the ceiling in Tram Alien Spawn with a bunch of Hydras, and the reason I'm up there is because I want to talk about Hydra placement as a Gorge. Gorge has got to be the most underloved alien class in the beta at the moment, and I think he's heaps of fun, especially since in build 159 and the coming build 160, you can build quite a lot of Hydras before server lag starts to happen. Now, what usually happens in the beta at the moment is people become Gorge, and a rifleman will be a marine with a rifle will be walking along, and suddenly he will find this, a room full of Hydra spam. Not fun, not cool. He'll go down very quickly, and he'll get angry, and the marine team will slowly tech up, and eventually they will get flamethrowers, and then this will happen. They will run, they will hide from the Hydras, they will set them all on fire, they will run and retreat, and the little Gorge and all the little Hydras will start to burn and die, and it only takes a few seconds for all those Hydras to burn down, and even if you manage to kill one of the flamethrower wielding marines, he only spent 30 plasma or something on the flamethrower, and you've spent like 80 plasma on your Hydra spam. Now, I think there are much more fun ways to use Hydras and much more effective ways to use Hydras in the beta. And to use Hydras in this way, you have to think a little differently. Now, if you're a new if you're a new Skulk and you're intending to go Gorge, you've got a little bit of time to use, and you've got a little bit of interesting time to use, and that's your evolve time. And I think you should use it to look up, because there is so much detail in the ceiling spaces in these maps that you can use your evolve to get up there. And what I mean by that is be the Skulk, and, well, be a little bit better Skulk than I'm being right now, because I'm having some trouble climbing the walls here in Rockdown Alien Spawn, but be Skulk to climb into an interesting space where you can evolve into Gorge. And the thing about evolving up here is you're safe while you're evolved, so no one's going to be able to kill you while you're up here, and also, once you've evolved, you can place Hydras much more effectively than you would if you'd evolved on the ground. So this is a great little thing to do before you go out there in the big wild world as a Gorge to be a battle medic and to place Hydras in more conventional places around the map. You can use your first, your initial evolve to get up into the ceiling space and place Hydras up here. I had to do a little cut there because I ran out of plasma and had to get some more using cheat codes. So here I'm exploiting the fact that Hydras can be placed on any surface, not just a horizontal one, and I'm placing them in the ceiling space above where marines would run into this room. And it's a lot of fun doing this as a Gorge. It's really fun running around trying to find places to place your Hydras and make surprising little ambushes for marines. Some of the ceiling spaces are a little bit tight for a Gorge. You can see here I'm getting stuck on the light before I place that Hydra there. And sometimes that'll happen, but if you're creative and you're crafty and you're very careful moving around, you can usually move around all around these ceiling spaces and place your Hydras. So you can place, I think I've placed about 4 or 5 Hydras up here, going to go from maybe a fifth one here, and you can do this in build 159. There is not too much lag to do this, and usually when people become Gorge, they do have a stock of plasma that they want to chew up once before they go out and be a battle medic and place more conventional Hydras, and they usually use it on Hydra spam. So why not place your Hydras like this? Because when a marine runs in here, notice that they will not see up into the roof space. Normally they won't look up there, and suddenly they'll start getting hit. And because of the distance, the Hydra isn't very accurate, but at the same time, it's hard to tell where they're coming from. And by the time they finally can tell where they are, they've taken, say, half damage, and if they've taken half damage, they're going to be easy to take down for skulks. So those Hydras have served a great purpose, and they're not going to elicit a reaction where the Marines are simply not going to go into that room until they get flamethrowers. And in some cases, you might even be able to place the Hydra in a place where the flamethrowers can't get to, and that is why I'm in Tram Alien Spawn here. Now, flamethrowers, once they're out on Tram, can end the game against aliens in favor of the Marines. But if you use your initial evolve as Gorge and evolve up in the ceiling space, you can place Hydras in some seriously interesting spots. I encourage you to get out there on a server and just have a run around. Create your own server, even like I have here. Have a run around in the ceiling spaces and find interesting places to place Hydras. There are so many spots in Tram, just like in Rockdown. There are ceiling spaces everywhere. And the Tram Alien Spawn one is particularly, it's like a little maze up here. There are so many girders and I-beams and cross-beams. And I'm sitting on a crane right now that's suspended from the roof and just placing Hydras up here well out of reach of Marine flamethrowers. Crucially, Marines that run into this room with flamethrowers won't be able to take these Hydras down with flamethrowers, and the Hydras have the range to shoot down there. Because the projectile is timed, it does take a while for it to get to the ground. And that can mean that the Hydra will be much more inaccurate than it would be if it was on the ground. But they will still hit, and anytime a Marine stops, he is going to cop Hydra spikes in the face. So, just to reiterate, you might say that what I'm doing right here is Hydra spam. I'd say it's not, because of the new builds being much more resistant to lag. What this is just clever Hydra placement. And these Hydras costing, I think this is going to cost me 70 plasma or something to put all these Hydras up. That is no small amount of plasma, especially as game balance starts to happen and plasma becomes harder and harder to come by. But if you are becoming a Gorge and you've got a lot of plasma, it's much more efficient to place Hydras like this rather than just spamming a room. Because if you spam a room, all that plasma is going to go to waste as soon as Marines get grenade launchers or flamethrowers or carefully use pistols to take the Hydras out. But Hydras placed like this could stay around for the whole game and could become invaluable for the alien team's defense once flamethrowers come out on the scene. Notice that I had a little bit of trouble placing that Hydra. That's because when you place the Hydra, if you move while you're placing it, especially when you're placing it a little bit further away from just in front of you, the Hydra will cancel. And I'm not sure if you lose the plasma when you do that. I'll have to investigate that for you guys. But the point is, don't move your view while you're placing the Hydra. Just hold your view steady while you place it, and then once it starts growing, you can safely move away from it, and it will continue growing up into that lovely plant of death. I love the model. Especially fun to do this in a dark room because they will glow and light up really eerily. Now, as you can see, a flamethrower has moved in here. Typical Marine play into Tram Alien Spawn. Flaming Skulks. Skulks would die instantly as he comes in, but suddenly he's getting hit. Now notice there are a lot of Hydras up there and they're not all hitting him very fast, but he is taking damage, and by the time he realizes where they are, he will have taken quite a bit of damage. Now if he takes cover, he's going to be immobile and Skulks are going to be able to kill him, and if he doesn't, he's going to continue taking damage and he can't flame these Hydras, and getting a grenade up there would be extremely difficult as well. So by any reckoning, having these Hydras up there is going to slow down Marine progress significantly in Alien Spawn, and hey, in the end, it's just a lot of fun to do it as a Gorge either way. Now, the really exciting thing about this is when you combine it with the fact that alien commanders don't have to place structures on ground level, big open rooms like this start to take on a very 3D battle space flavor. And you can see there are Hydras on the walls, there are crags on the walls, there are crags in the ceiling space, whips on the floor. Everything is happening in 3 dimensions here. The Hydras are all the buildings are working in 3 dimensions, and I think that's really, really exciting, especially as we start to see more alien structures created. These hive rooms are going to take on a really interesting 3D real-time strategy flavor that you don't see in a lot of games, especially not real-time strategy games that happen all on the x-axis. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all later.